What's going on, everybody? So in this video we are going to be covering the hottest NFT news, so let's go ahead and get right into it. Now, as you can obviously see, I'm not in a place that looks like a dorm room anymore. If you didn't know, I was actually in California for the last 10 days, at NFT LA and meeting some people in the NFT space, but now we are back. So over the past couple of days, the price of crypto kind of has been consistent. Ethereum is kind of at that 1.7, Bitcoin at 27,000. So not too many changes going on, which is fine. And we can also see on the fear greed index, for a while we've kind of been on the greedy side, and I definitely do agree with that, where things kind of like suddenly pumped way too much over the past month. As you can see, you just got to be mindful of when people are greedy and when people are fearful. Typically the best time to buy is when people are fearful, so just keep that in mind. Now let's go ahead and get into the NFT news. Now, the first thing we're gonna cover is degods. They have been making a lot of noise, especially in the Ethereum NFT side, now that they have migrated successfully onto Ethereum. And if you didn't know, degods was the biggest project on Solana, and they migrated to Ethereum, obviously because they probably see that Ethereum is more stable relative to Solana. And if we're looking at their OpenSea, the floor price is 8.8. So automatically some people might say this is already a blue chip project when we're talking about the floor prices, but obviously there's more to an NFT project. It's not just going to be about floors, but right now during this space, people do care a lot about floors. People care about narratives, and they want to see how high this can go, especially if they hold it all the way to a bull run. So degods is killing it right now. And a couple of things that I've observed from a builder's perspective is that when they got people to migrate, there are 8,000 degods that have already been bridged over to Ethereum, which is 80% of the supply so far. They also have this paper hand bridge tax. So if you left your degods on Solana, then you're going to have to pay a royalty of 33.3% if you buy and sell your degods. So they did the similar strategy with Utes, and they kind of mimicked it because it worked so well. And now they applied it to degods, and so nobody's going to buy and sell, because why would they want to lose 33% of that, right? Okay, so the royalty fee, they kept it pretty low. It's 0.5 on the creator earnings. So they're probably trying to just get as much volume traded as possible, because when people look at that, they go, oh my god, it must be a good project because there's so much volume, right? This kind of just proved that because Utes successfully migrated onto Polygon/ETH, degods also migrated to Ethereum, then if you start a project and you're a big fish in a small pond, let's say you're on like Aptos or like whatever layer one is going to pop up, you can find success there. Maybe everyone just like apes into you because you're number one, and then later on when you find a lot of success and you want to build something long term, you could probably just migrate over to Ethereum. So I definitely see that being a viable strategy for a lot of teams who don't want to compete against other Ethereum projects just quite yet, and they would rather be a big fish in a small pond. Now, talking about some big fish, we're going to talk about Yuga Labs, because they recently just hired the COO of Activision Blizzard as the CEO of Yuga Labs. So this is this guy over here, Daniel. From what I can gather, he was responsible for the international delivery of franchises like Call of Duty, Candy Crush, Diablo, Overwatch, World of Warcraft. So some of the top games by Activision Blizzard. And you can see just from going on his LinkedIn, he had 16 years at Google, president and COO at Blizzard for 3 years, and now he's moving over to Yuga Labs. So this definitely is someone who is a seasoned executive moving into the NFT space, and the NFTs are in general are just evolving so much and getting more legitimized because of executives like this coming into the space. And it's very interesting to kind of observe that from founder standpoint. The Bored Ape founders, they're not the CEO, which is very interesting, right? Because they're the founders, they probably lead certain teams, the vision of the company, but when it comes to the day-to-day operations, I can definitely understand why they would hire a CEO to kind of manage all those people, because now they're like shipping games, right? And this is not easy to do. And now, speaking of games, some recent big news in the Web 2 side is that Epic Games recently launched an Unreal editor for Fortnite, and this is actually pretty crazy. So long story short, basically, if you are a game developer or creator, you can basically create like these type of games using the Unreal Engine editor in Fortnite. So it's kind of like you're building in Fortnite. So this kind of reminds me of, back in the day when Warcraft 3 was really popular and people were creating on top of Warcraft and creating the mods. Like, for example, Dota was one of the most popular games that came out of these mods. People are going to be officially be able to use Unreal Engine and Fortnite in order to create their own games, right? So you can use all their tech and probably like their models and stuff like that. And you can probably buy models and put it in this game, and then you can create your own game. So this actually makes it a lot more easier for people to create games without all the technical baggage of, doing all the technology side, right? And something, a lot of people don't know about gaming is that to be an innovative game, not only do you have to be very innovative when it comes to content creation and creating a good game, you also have to be very innovative in the technology as well. And that actually is a very big burden for a lot of game developers because they're not necessarily technology people. They just want to make games. So I can understand that a lot of creative genius like game developers might be creating on Unreal Engine, giving away the cuts of, the revenue from their game, but it kind of shortcuts them and allows them to create a game so much more faster and maybe even higher quality because it can use everything in this engine, right? And so if you look at all the demos and things like that, this is actually very good. And so if someone were to, let's say, create a game and they want to raise money for it, they could probably just create the game in Unreal Engine and just create a quick demo and then use that to raise money or do an NFT project, because you don't have to create the game from scratch using your own technology, especially if this is easily and readily available. Now, switching gears real quick, an Argentinian airline is issuing tickets as NFTs from now on. So this low-cost carrier, Flybondi, is going to be partnering with NFT ticketing company TravelX and offering their tickets as NFTs on the Algorand blockchain. So this is definitely an experiment. I wonder if this will actually create a better experience for their users, or maybe is this just a way for them to do marketing and get more attention, right? I mean, the ticketing system is not necessarily broken, I would say. It's not really like you're trying to buy and sell your e-ticket, because once you use it, what do you do with it? But maybe if there's a way to gamify the travel airline, and if you have multiple tickets, maybe you get a discount for another ticket. Maybe that is a potential possibility. But I just want to kind of put it on your radar because it is, some interesting news. Going to the last story of the day, we're going to be talking about Square Enix's new game, Symbiogenesis. So we have talked about it a couple times, but there has been a couple updates. And the reason I want to bring this up is because this is Square Enix, right? They're the company that make Final Fantasy and all these other AAA games. So what they're doing is something that other people are definitely paying attention to, especially because anime gaming is one of the highest grossing games when you talk about international numbers, like Genshin Impact or like Fate Grand Order. And a lot of people don't know, these games make a lot of money, as are some of the top games, especially in Japan as well. So pretty much what I can gather is if you interacted with their Discord or something like that and you joined, you're going to be able to get that Symbiogenesis member card. It's only 1.3 Matic, right? So there's not a lot of volume on this. And then they're going to drop a 10K, kind of like a PFP collection that's used in this game on Ethereum, right? There's not a lot of information on how you actually can get whitelist to mint the 10K PFP, but going into the game real quick, it's going to be like a point and click game. The idea is kind of like you just click things around, you have these PFPs, these are your characters in the game, there's different rarities for these characters and they do different things. And your whole goal is to find treasure, kill bosses, find loot, which is nothing necessarily new, right? Just NFTs on this. The idea is that they're going to give you resources, so then you can use your character to do something. And they want you to basically get this resource every day, so you have to keep logging back in every day to find new treasure. So I mean, we got to see more before we actually pass judgment on whether the game is fun or not, because right now it's still pretty mysterious. Outside looking in, it doesn't look super exciting quite yet, to be honest. I feel like they could have presented the marketing and everything in a different way, but hey, it's a little too early to judge, so I'm following along to see how this goes. And so with that said, that is everything we got to cover for this video. If you enjoyed it, make sure to give it a like, subscribe, turn on notifications, and I will see you in the next one.